Hi, everybody. This is Alan Fine. I'm here with Tricia Wolf, the Vice President of Field Sales for the U.S. for Oceania. We are on the Marina, and we are having a cruise in the northern Baltic. And so we're going to talk about this ship. We're going to talk about the upcoming ships and the unbelievable culinary here on Insider Travel Report. So let's frame this whole thing so that for the travel advisors who have heard of Oceania and are not booking it, and they're new to Oceania. Mm-hmm. Let's give them the big picture. How many ships?
So Oceania Cruises consists of 6 cruise ships right now in 2022. We have the 4 R-class ships, Regatta, Insignia, Nautica, and Sirena. And then we also have the O-class vessels, the one that we're on right now, Marina and Riviera, sister ship. Right. And then we have a 7th cruise ship coming on board or coming into the seas in April of 2023.
So it's April. I didn't realize that. And then its sister ship was in 25 you're already working on.
That's correct. So we're in a period of growth. We're excited. So as a new to Oceania, there's so much opportunity to get in the ground floor of these 2 new vessels that we've started to sell. And it's such an amazing, the Allura class is such an amazing, it's going to be a wonderful product.
So the differences between the Vista and the Marina, are they known to you now? Is it something you can talk about?
Absolutely. There's a few things that we can talk about. We want to keep some things still a little quiet. We'll see what I end up saying. Okay, but there's, the thing about Oceania Cruises is the brand across the fleet is very similar. So what we wanted to do, even when we were building Marina and Riviera, is that we wanted our past guests who have been traveling with us to understand that yes, the food is in a certain spot. The fun, the Marina Lounge is in another area, and they're all virtually on the same decks and the same areas of the ship. So we're doing that the same with our Vista, the Allura class coming on. But again, we'll have some differences. We'll have our Aquamar Spa cuisine. We'll have Ember as a new restaurant. We'll have solo staterooms. We have French balcony rooms. So we have a lot of differences, but still very similar throughout.
Right. Well, I mean, you've got a product that works, so you don't want to change the things that do.
Exactly. I mean, we really don't. When it comes to the service on board, when it comes to the cuisine, which we are going to talk about cuisine, and it's the hallmark of Oceania. It's been like that from the very beginning. And what I really have enjoyed on this cruise is that we continuously see the evolution of the culinary side of it.
And I said, let's talk about the big picture, and I really didn't go big enough. Let's go bigger. You're a part of a larger family.
We are part of a larger family. So it's Oceania Cruises and then our sister company, Regent Seven Seas and Norwegian Cruise Line. So between the 3 of us, we represent different areas in the market. We work very well together. There's always little competition here and there, but competition is healthy if you make it healthy. Mm-hmm. And so, yes, we're part of a bigger cruise line partner, NCLH, and again, proud to be part of the brand.
So now, how you fall into this is that, and you weren't always, but I even heard today that you tried to become upscale premium. And so, what exactly does that mean? And then I want to talk about the fact that it feels very luxury.
So Oceania is an upper premium cruise line. So for those of you that have never sold Oceania, think about us as upper premium. We're right in that sweet spot between premium and luxury. And a lot of your travel partners, your travel advisors out there may tell you, well, the Oceania's luxury. But we're really not. We'd rather stay in that sweet spot of upper premium because think about it. If we exceed a premium cruiser's expectations, that's half the battle. Yeah. And when a guest is coming on board for the first time and not having to stand in line and knowing that it's a max of 1,250 guests and that there's, plenty of different dining options, those are the things where we will exceed their expectations.
Well, that's an interesting question because in your sales, that's what you do. You're always trying to exceed expectations. So if you actually sell it as a luxury cruise line, you'll meet expectations, but It's a risky business. Right. They really should sell you as you are and then be surprised.
Absolutely. And Alan, when you think about it as a luxury guest, so we all know everyone has luxury guests as well. We can compete, and we will compete, which is great, because you take that client that sailed on the luxury cruise lines and have them occupy a suite, a penthouse suite. So you have your butler. They're taking care of you. They're able to make your reservations for you. And they're learning everything about you in that 10, 12-day time frame, to where they know that you like your coffee with, cane sugar instead of white sugar. Little things like that. And that's what they're delivering.
So upscale, but that's luxury. And let's give them, what are some of the other things that you feel are little touches that are luxurious?
Little touches are the destinations. Some of the destinations that we travel to, and we will see a lot of our luxury cruisers choose Oceania because they don't have to give up the finer things, the beverages that they're used to, the type of shore excursions, the type of service, the type of cuisine. And then, you also receive some amazing destinations where we dock in most of the ports of call, as opposed to anchor and then tender in. And we haven't even talked about the little touches on board.
Well, let's do that. Yeah.
Alan, we talked about earlier today, we talked about just the wine in each of the different restaurants.
I was wondering, because I don't buy bottles of wine, and then suddenly I was offered a bottle of wine and I was told what?
Well, if you'd like to have that bottle of wine and you do not finish it, it'll follow you each evening, so that if you don't have to feel bad about leaving a bottle of wine or not finishing a bottle of wine. It'll follow with you to the next restaurant that you're dining in the next evening.
No, and that's great, because if you don't have a drinks package and you're buying your bottles, there's no waste.
There's no waste. And again, I experienced this a few days ago. We were purchasing a bottle of wine, and I thought, well, okay, we're between the group that we're with, a table of 6, we knew we'd finish one, but we didn't know if we'd finish a second one. We did, though, but if we weren't sure, then they're able to cork it, and it follows you. And it's the little touches when you're in Toscana and they roll over.
We are in Toscana.
That we are in Toscana, which is a beautiful, beautiful setting. But when they roll over the olive oil and balsamic vinegar cart, and again, talking about the different type of aged balsamic vinegars, that's a nice touch when you're in red ginger. And they present you with the different types of chopsticks or the infused teas. Yeah. Those are the little touches that, again, allow us to be in that luxury segment, but again, being upper premium, because, Alan, we have a lot of guests that, we're not an all-inclusive product. Right. So because we're not all-inclusive, we are not a all-inclusive luxury cruise line. We'll leave that to our sister company, Regent, and that's fine. But there are a lot of guests that don't drink. There are a lot of guests that like to do their own shore excursions. And so that's where you have our tagline, your world, your way.
But also, if you don't drink, or if you're just a moderate drinker, what happens with this cocktail hour they should be aware of?
We do have cocktail hour. We have our 2-for-1. Oceania is known for that 2-for-1 saying. And we offer, different cocktails available in any of the different restaurants or of the different bars. And we have an amazing wine list. So even the wine list in all the different restaurants is very extensive. So if you, as a moderate drinker, if you just want one glass of wine, you can enjoy that as well.
But I was referring also to the fact that you host cocktail hour.
Yes, we do have a cocktail hour during our welcome reception and our farewell reception, and different evenings throughout, depending on where the ship is at and what's going on. And so then, of course, you're able to experience the different types of drinks that we have. We have the Oceania O Martini that's available, so plenty of options.
And my needs are simple. A bathrobe and slippers is always nice. A public bathroom with cloth towels is nice. I don't need a whole lot, but and of course the service.
Absolutely. And when you say your needs are what your needs are, Bulgari amenities in your stateroom. Yes. I think, okay, I don't really need it, but I will tell you, it is sure nice to have the little details, the bathrobe in your suite or stateroom. I'll tell you another little detail. In your penthouse suites and larger suites, there's a pashmina. There's like a little wrap for the ladies. If you don't have something to wear that evening or you need something, then there's a specific pashmina there for you to take with you in the evening, which I think is a nice little touch to have.
Let's now lean into Vista, because you are giving us a little foreshadowing as to what we're going to eat and drink. So let's start with the baked goods. Yeah.
So, Alan, there's so much to offer, and as I told you before, we are constantly evolving the cuisine component of Oceania. So with Vista, we have not had an inaugural in 10 years. So our last ship was inaugurated in 2012.
That's exciting.
And so this is really exciting for us. So this is a really great opportunity for us to move into another category, to continuously evolve that and the baked goods. So what we're doing on Vista is we have a bakery. We have our Barista's Cafe with some amazing cappuccinos and lattes, and my favorite, La Crema, which is a frozen drink. Ely Coffee makes it, but it's wonderful. But then in addition to that, it's always nice to have, Nutella beignet or, a chocolate croissant. There's plenty of, I don't want to give them all away, right. But there's plenty of baked goods that now because we have a bakery on board the Vista. So that's one component of the cuisine. As you wake up in the morning and you have your cappuccino or your coffee, you're able to enjoy the baked goods as well.
Right. Now, yesterday we had a showcase of all the new cocktails that have been invented and designed. And let's talk a little bit about that, please.
So when you think about, you're going out on a night, anywhere where you live, there's lots of excitement around the different types of cocktails out there. And Oceania wants to make sure that we're right there with you all. So we had a mixologist on board, and she was able to showcase a lot of the different cocktails on board. I think she calls it a bubbly bar, which truly is that. Yeah. It's a flavored drink infused with a particular type of flavor, and it's a bubble. You'll see it. It's a wonderful, it's a fun cocktail. Yes. Now, it was bourbon, and bourbon's not something I would drink, but then there's so many other options.
I was told that as long as there's no ice along the top and it was a flat surface, you could bubble anything.
You can bubble anything. And, you
can smoke anything.
You can smoke anything. We saw the smoker, the smoker compartment as well, and that worked out really great. We also have something that's new and different is our zero proof cocktails. So in many cases, I mentioned earlier, some of our guests, don't drink, and many of them do moderately or not. But we have an opportunity for zero proof cocktails, and I tried the Aperol, which was wonderful.
So let me explain. They went out and they found, I think it's like a dozen. They were able to get the flavor of about a dozen famous liqueurs to be non-alcoholic, and so this is the first I've heard of it on a cruise ship.
Mm-hmm. There's an amaretto cocktail that I did not taste it, but a friend of mine did, and she said, "Oh wow, this tastes exactly like an amaretto." Mm-hmm. So again, it's something fun to try as you're sailing on board Vista. But those are some of the new and different things that we're doing with our cocktails.
Now let's get to some food, because we had a lunch today that I'm still like.
Oh my goodness. It was a wonderful tasting menu of some of the items that we're really excited about and we're going to showcase on the Vista. And I think I might have to throw it back to you.
Well, no. So I'll talk about, I just thought it was interesting to have beef Wellington, but lobster Wellington. So you had a lobster in the middle of the puff pastry, and the pastry was great. What else? What did you like?
So there was prime rib. We also had a beautiful risotto that had some pumpkin seeds on top, and it was the best tasting risotto I've had in a very long time. Could have been the last time I was on board Oceania, but we also had some pastries, some puff pastries that were decadent. The dessert was a fudge brownie, and then on top of that, so dessert's my favorite, and I always say if it doesn't have chocolate, then it's not worth having. That's just me personally. Yeah, okay. So this was a chocolate brownie, had ice cream on top, and then it was covered with walnuts and pecans and caramel and chocolate sauce, and it wasn't over the top either, which, it was very nice. It was very well thought out, and yes, I was full, but it was very nice presentation. And I think that's something also to look at, is everything that we receive today, and even throughout the ship and all the different restaurants, the presentation is exciting and very.
It made me forget to take pictures sometimes.
I know, we did. We had to remind you to take some pictures.
Right.
So very enjoyable. Even the wines served were paired beautifully with what we had.
Now, pushing innovation, the executive chef said, and then I have this at the end. I'm not sure where I'm going to use it. And they were custom-made marshmallows. It was strawberry and passion fruit infused, sweet and tart and chewy and wonderful, and he better find a place to put it, either by waves with ice cream or maybe part of the turn down service. Okay, so we talked a little bit about we had a little conference and talked a little about your outreach during COVID with travel advisors. I mean, after all, we're talking to our travel advisors, and so if you want to talk for a moment about that, and also about the new Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings new view on COVID and what the policies are.
So there's a lot. I will tell everyone listening that we did not stop during COVID. And what I mean by that, because I know many of you didn't stop either. Even if you're new, whatever you were doing, you didn't stop. I think that's a good consensus. But we did not stop marketing. We did not stop advertising. We stayed in contact with our travel partners, our travel advisors. We made sure that the consumer community, through the travel advisor community, knew about Oceania and that we're here. So we constantly kept thinking forward, even to the point that in May of this past year, we launched the full 2024 collection of itineraries. So we've never done that before, but we wanted to get ahead of the curve because, again, we're constantly looking forward to think, okay, what's next? What's next? And when it comes to COVID, I'm so glad we don't have to talk about that as much anymore, but we kept moving forward. And, the policies changed. For our travel advisors, for our consumer community, they changed constantly.
What exactly are the policy changes?
Yeah, so Alan, the policy changes are that if you are not vaccinated, you can travel on Oceania now. That was not the case before, but now you can. But you do have to present a negative PCR or antigen test. So PCR, you'd have to present within 72 hours of boarding the ship, and then antigen is 48 hours. And that's for ages 12 and older. Ages 11 and under, there's no policy for those, although I will tell you, we do not have a lot of children on board Oceania. And so, it's really made it nice because I think there's been a lot of guests that have been waiting for this to have the changes come through.
But as you said that about the children, let's talk about what's the target audience for this product.
Sure. So the target audience is average age of an Oceania guest is around, it's 55 plus. Is what we tend to look at. Average age is probably 65. And, again, what we've looked at with our guests is we're constantly analyzing it. We're constantly looking to see who is that guest, what are their needs, what do they like when they travel. And our demographics have not really changed throughout, but the psychographic component of it has changed, right? So a 65-year-old 20 years ago is different than a 65-year-old today. Still a 65-year-old, but they have different needs. They have, when they're traveling, a guest is looking for some component of safety, but also, to be able to explore, to immerse themselves into any destination, whether the destination is the cruise ship. They're looking for that immersive. They're looking for the, kind of the wow factor to be able to. So a lot of them like to post. And many of them are influencers, so they're looking for that, but they're also just looking for that memory as well. And so we look at that a lot. But
we talk. I don't know did we talk about excursions? We really didn't. But you said that they were different. But on or off the ship. I'm on the ship. you have classes that are really, for the psychographic that really wants to learn and do, you have that.
We do. We have lectures on board. We have our culinary classes. So enjoy a 50-minute culinary class with our culinary chef. It's a hands-on cooking center. So you get to make whatever is part of that class. And whether it's a frittata or a special dessert, you get to make it. And then there's some excursions. So you're right, we didn't touch a lot on excursions, but I think that also sets us apart. When a guest is looking to travel on Oceania, they are expecting, some of the finer things in regards to cuisine. But then off the ship, we want to make sure that it's equally immersive, equally exciting for them. So we have Go Local tours. Go Local tours are small tours, maybe about 12 guests, where they, maybe they're going to go truffle hunting. Maybe they're going, in Australia or New Zealand, sheep shearing, right? Okay, right? So doing something different, visiting someone's local home, going to a pizzeria in Italy and learning how they make the pizza pie. So little things like that set us apart. But we also have, some green, local green tours. We have Beyond Blueprints, and again, over 500 different excursions to choose from. So something for everybody.
But you touched on green, and I know that the ships are continuing with your innovation. You've stopped, the plastics. Your ships are being converted to take electricity off the pier. Anything else you can think of?
Well, those are two really main components. And, cruising in general, we're constantly looking at how we can support, the environment. And again, the Viral water on board has been a huge success. So in all of your suites or staterooms, there's no more bottled water. You each get your own canister, your own bottle, and Viral water is provided for you throughout. And I think that's a really big component of continuously evolving into that.
Do you want to brag about any new itineraries coming up?
Oh my goodness. We have some really great itineraries. But what I'd like to brag about is the launch of our 2025 Around the World cruise. It's 180 days or 200 days. And the last time...
Why so short? I'm kidding. Keep going. Maybe we cut that. I don't know.
No, why so short? 180 days. There's some competition, and some of our competition has 110 days. And we said, you know what? We want to have the longest around the world voyage, and we want to hit as many ports as we possibly can without repeating. So we went for 180 days, and it's been very successful. 6 months out of the year. But in addition to that, we know that there are some guests that maybe 180 days is too long. So we've now started to introduce some larger grand voyages that are anywhere between 90 to 110 days. And that could be, LA to Tokyo. We have an LA to Sydney. We have a lot of new itineraries, and I can't talk about some of the new ones coming out, but we have an amazing grand voyage that's coming out that everyone will. It's a great twist.
You'll tell us. Stay tuned. We'll let you know.
Yes, well, we might get there. And so the launch of our 2025 Around the World is September 14th. So I encourage you, if you have any clients that are interested, and I will tell you as a travel advisor, don't be afraid to suggest an Around the World voyage. There's many guests out there that it's on their bucket list. You would never expect that they would be interested in 180 days, but it's on a lot of consumers' bucket list right now.
Gotcha. Well, let's start moving into sales now. This is your bailiwick. This is your wheelhouse. So let's talk about, first of all, you mentioned that there was a global footprint and that your sales globally has been unified. How does that help you?
So the global footprint is that we all work under the same promotion. We have right now our public offer of O-Life Choice. O-Life Choice allows you to choose. So we always talk about your world, your way. So now it's your world, your choice. You get to choose between either shipboard credit, a beverage package, or shore excursions. And it as a global footprint, to know that we all have the same offer is very beneficial to every travel advisor across the globe, because they don't have to feel like if we do have some occupancy challenges, they don't have to feel like they can find a better offer somewhere else. Everyone has the same offers.
The booking now, post-COVID, there's been a spike, hasn't there?
There's been definitely, we've had spikes throughout the year. Whenever we launch something, that's typically when we have some big booking increases. But even with the vaccination changes this past week, we've seen increase in our bookings. It just kind of depends. We have our ups and downs, but the booking trends, what we're seeing is much further out. And the grand voyages, the longer voyages, is a huge component of Oceania right now. We've seen a lot of our guests that we didn't see in 2019 or before booking 30, 40-day voyages. Right. And then, again, we thought maybe it would fall off, given that, maybe they had extra time and they hadn't traveled for 2 years. But we're seeing those, some of those same guests book even further out. So into 2024, now they're also booking 30-day voyages. So those trends, again, it should be part of your conversation with your clients, because it is definitely a big component of Oceania as well.
Are there promotions that, first of all, you want them to visit the ships? Are there FAMs? Are there things they should be aware of? And how can they get involved? Where, if they haven't worked with you before, is there a URL, and how do they get in touch?
So you can always go to oceaniacruises.com, and in the bottom right-hand corner, you scroll down, and that's where the Travel Advisor Center is. There's so much opportunity. First, Ellen, you talked about promotions. We've always had our O-Life choice, but we have some great promotions. We have our Labor Day sale that's coming up right now. It's actually August 30th to September 7th. We have we'll have a Black Friday sale coming up as well. I don't have the dates on that.
They now need to know and keep watching.
And I will tell you, in regards to our promotions, the process with Oceania is that we don't offer a lot of promotions throughout the year. When we have at the end of each quarter, we offer a price increase, whereas some of our competing cruise lines might lower their rates. We look at the best price that you can get is during our launch, and then as you continue to get closer to that sailing date, the prices go up. So every quarter you can utilize that and take advantage of that promotion. That, hello, any of your clients, this is an opportunity for you to book now, because we don't know what prices are going to go up. And it's been highly successful for Oceania. And then I will tell you that, how can you get involved? The best way to get involved is to go online. I mentioned the oceaniacruises.com. Go to the Travel Advisor Center. We have some wonderful classes in Oceania Cruises University. It doesn't take very long. It's maybe 45 minutes to an hour. We don't have a huge fleet, so to be able to learn 2 different classes of ships right now, 3 different classes coming on, it doesn't take very long. I mentioned earlier across the fleet, the restaurants are virtually in the same areas. But then reach out to your sales team. Reach out to your sales directors. If you need to get in touch with me, you most certainly can. I'm certainly visible. But I have a team of 16 sales directors that work throughout U.S. and Canada. And then we're there to help you if you need training. If you just want to talk to us about some of your clients, we can certainly do that. The other thing that we love are groups. So we've really built a good affinity program globally that we're very proud of, and we're very excited. We're constantly evolving that as well. But that's another way a lot of travel advisors don't always think.
Also, some of them are not used to it, and so if they know that you'll hold their hand, maybe they'll take the plunge.
Yes, and we will definitely hold your hand. Okay. We will take care of you. We will guide you as to what we feel are the best opportunities within the group's program, and just to be able to market Oceania. If you're just starting out, and maybe you're overwhelmed. Start out slow and look at Oceania, read through the material, take the classes, and just ask some questions, because most of your clients are food clients, and that right there suggesting Oceania, we would be a perfect fit. So again, just think about Oceania when it comes to some of your clients. If they're into food and wine, that right there, you could just start there and suggest Oceania.
I looked around for things like, what did we forget? Did you want to talk about Tropics and Exotics launch?
Yes, I mean, we can certainly do that. So the Tropics and Exotic launch, so we have our Around the World voyage is in September, and then our Tropics and Exotics launch, which is winter of 24 to 25, and that will launch in November.
Okay. But what's your best advice to travel advisors? Because you've told them some advice, you have, but is there something else? And how should they sell Oceania?
So my best advice to Oceania is, in regards to selling Oceania, is listen to your clients. If they are talking about a particular type of cuisine, if they're talking about some different fine wines, that's right there.
The trigger word. Yeah.
Exactly. So that would be my advice, to think of Oceania as I don't like to use this term, but the foodie cruise line, right?
At one time, it was so important just to know how to get out of COVID, and now we're out of it. So what's your advice about that? What's the post-COVID advice?
So the post-COVID advice is travel.
Yeah.
You've worked hard over the last few years, and it can wear on everyone. So my advice is to travel with your clients, travel when you can, look at Oceania, suggest us. We are a wonderful cruise line, and I can tell you your clients will very much enjoy sailing on Oceania.
Thank you so much for speaking to us.
So glad to be here, and I enjoyed this.
I'm glad. I did too. Anyway, this is Alan Fine for Insider Travel Report.